Fiona, I'm sure nobody's talking about much else in terms of Rowing Ireland at the moment here. It's the talk of the town. Obviously, you've had an amazing year yourself. And when it comes to your own individual experiences in terms of the welfare of athletes with Rowing Ireland, you can only speak for yourself. First of all, how have things been for you in Rowing Ireland over the past couple of years?
Nothing but fantastic. Everyone, it's been so supportive. I'm incredibly fortunate that I come in here. I love walking through these doors and I thrive in this environment. Everyone has their own experience on things, but mine's been nothing but positive.
Right. Did you work closely with Murtagh Giovanni?
Yes, he was my coach throughout the Tokyo cycle, and again, nothing but a positive experience with him. He was a fantastic mentor, a fantastic coach to me. So
I guess it comes back to what we were talking about earlier on. It is such an individual sport. Different methods maybe work for different people?
Yeah, I would say so. Do you know, coaching styles, everyone has different coaching styles. It's a personal, you go with what you believe is right at the time. So it's, yeah.
Is it Dominic looking after you mostly now then?
So Dominic the last year, so he took over as interim high performance director in November, and he has been looking after us the past year, and he's been incredibly supportive, especially on the journey that I've been on. And he knows, you know, like I said, the disappointment of Paris and him being able to take this all on and guide us and support us in the way that he has been incredibly important, and very grateful for him for that.
Yeah, because he sure as hell won't say it about himself.
I know, he's a man of few words. But no, he's such an influence here, and he has so much respect. So yeah, very grateful for him.
Just a final question, and I'll leave this completely open-ended. Have the last couple of weeks been difficult for you to navigate? Because obviously you know quite well a lot of the people who've been making the allegations about Murtagh Giovanni and the programme as a whole.
Yeah, to me, like, they were teammates at one point in time, and for them to try and discredit my achievements and our achievements as the Tokyo Four, rather than take accountability for their own performances and their own behaviour around performance, I think is incredibly disappointing. So yeah, that's my opinion on it.
Well, thank you for speaking to us about that, and congratulations once again on a brilliant year. Best of luck against a stacked category in a few weeks' time, Fiona.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's going to be a wonderful night, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Cheers, appreciate that. There'll be no prizes for guessing what your thoughts are on the Irish rowing setup. It's obviously been in the headlines quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. You've kind of mentioned a lot of people that you've worked with there and how much the system is benefiting you. At the same time, over the last couple of years, was there ever any sense that this was about to happen, that there was a coterie of rowers who were deeply unhappy and really felt mistreated and possibly were mistreated? Did you get any sense of that at all over the last couple of years?
I think because we were quite separate, you know, Dominic was kind of coaching us. We probably didn't have a full idea of kind of the stuff that's been brought up recently. I do think that, you know, there's also two sides to every story, and like being an athlete representative, I think like the team now and the team we have here, like I said earlier, it's so important to me, and what we've built is so important. So I'm glad that now I feel like we have we have that open kind of forum that we can talk about those things with each other and flag things. So I think I'm just glad that moving forward, that's going to be at the heart of it, and just the team, you know.
Because I think that'll be encouraging for a lot of people to hear, because it's not so much the selection decisions going against certain rowers that seems to be the story. It's kind of how that was conveyed, how certain rowers were treated. But as you say, there seems to be a movement towards maybe greater transparency. Is that something that's been worked on, I guess, is the question?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's always sort of been that way for us, in our group with Dominic coaching us. So I think that now that he's kind of in charge of everyone, hopefully that will carry over. And I think it has been pretty clear this year that all that side of the house is pretty good. So onwards and upwards.
Yeah, well, listen, Fintan, congratulations on a magnificent 2025 to cap off a magnificent 2024. No doubt 2026 is going to bring some good things for you as well. Best of luck against Rory McIlroy. Hopefully you manage to get the job done on the night, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Fintan, thank you very much.
Bye.
Dominic, before I let you go, and listen, everybody here has been so honest with me when I've been chatting to them today. It's obviously been a great year on the water. Rowing Ireland's dealing with a lot off the water at the moment. In terms of the culture that you've been involved in here at Rowing Ireland, do you have understanding and sympathy for people who maybe aren't involved in the programme anymore, who would have said that it would have been a toxic experience that they would have had here?
I suppose definitely, like, everybody's entitled to their opinion, like, in fairness, and we appreciate that, you know. But I suppose, you know, everybody, like, rowing is a tough sport when it comes to selection and all that sort of stuff. Like, when you know, you've only 2 seats in the boat and someone is going to lose out. But having said that, like, if I can put it like this, so we've the best rowers in the world. If you're number 3, you know, you're still a very good athlete, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you're a very good athlete.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that fine margins, you know.
It's I guess you understand why people aren't. It's hard to be the third best when you know you aren't going to the Olympics and stuff like that. So the disappointment that people is understandable.
If you had the third best,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be going to the Olympics. You know, you need everybody in the team, you know,
They're driving them on.
to push everything on. Yeah.
In terms of the selection process, is there a question around the transparency of it at all? Is that something that needs to be looked at?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think it's all the documentation is there before, you know. Yeah. Probably, I mean, we've Niall on board now, the new director, so he'll look at all that stuff again, you know. Yeah.
And then just a final one in terms of transparency with regards to like information between you and the programme and athletes. Is there a question there? Like I know Gary O'Donovan was talking about, you know, not knowing about not being included in training camps and not getting access to this facility. Could he have been communicated with better?
I suppose, like, everybody can improve, to be honest about it. You know, everything can be done better.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're always trying to do everything better. You know, so I'd say yes, everything can be done better.
Fair enough.
In every sport,
yeah.
I'd say as well.
Listen, best of luck with the awards in the next couple of weeks. I know it's a big one for you, but I appreciate the time, Dominic. Thank you.
Thanks.
Sure. There's been one thing on your desk more than any other since you started. What is it, 5 weeks ago? And it is obviously the allegations of poor treatment of athletes under Antonio Giovanni's programme. First of all, in terms of what you've actually had to do yourself, I presume you've had to get up to speed, do a bit of a deep dive, almost an audit from your own perspective to see how to proceed, a bit of information gathering.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing, and it's something I do as a matter of course in any role I go into, but I did a kind of a culture check-in, I call it. And I use this AI tool, and we basically speak to all the athletes and get all of their feedback on where they're at, you know, from a mindset point of view and from a relationship point of view. And it was very ironic, I suppose is one word, but I sent that out the week before I found out the article was going to be in the paper. But the feedback from that was really positive, and it was really positive about the work that had been done over the last 12 months up to Shanghai, and allowing for the fact that I came into post just at the time of Shanghai in the World Championships. So there was a lot of positivity coming off the back of Shanghai, and a lot of positivity in the camp about how, you know, I suppose there's challenges in every program, and obviously the article focuses on specific experiences of specific individuals. But there are a lot of athletes who had very positive experiences of working with Antonio, and some who unfortunately didn't. And it's about marrying all of that together into kind of an acknowledgement. I suppose that's the big thing that I've done, is this acknowledgement that everybody's entitled to how they feel about their experiences. But the key thing for us is, like, you know, and this is something I approach every job in, is, you know, what have we learned from the experiences we've had, and how do we ensure that we do better in the future and we don't have those experiences again. And I feel that when you read the articles, I mean, it's awful to think that any athlete in any sport has such a negative experience that it impacts so negatively on them. But for me, I think that you know, conversations around, you know, having very transparent selection policies, having very open conversations. I always talk about being athlete-centric, and what I mean by that is that the athletes actually have a voice in all of the planning. And I feel that if you do that, you can't avoid disappointment of deselection, but you can mitigate for it by being very clear and open with people all the way through a process to understand this is what's expected of you, this is kind of what you can expect from us going forward. And I feel that maybe that probably wasn't as robust as it could have been at the time. And yeah, I would have been doing this anyway, but certainly the articles gave me kind of a direction to focus on in relation to, having robust complaint and disciplinary policies, having very strong selection criteria, having a communication flow that goes both ways, so the athletes have a voice in everything we're doing. And I think, to be fair to, and I have to call Dominic out on this, the work Dominic's done in the last 12 months has been truly remarkable, because I feel it needs to be recognised that when Antonio left, some athletes are very unhappy to see him go, and some athletes are very happy to see him go. But Dominic took that environment, pulled it all together, and then went through the course of the year where they delivered 11 global medals, 8 senior medals throughout the year, and did it where all the athletes were coming back with a very positive experience of the environment. So I think there's a lot in any crisis, if you want to call it that. The Chinese have, it's famously said that they've the same word for crisis as opportunity. And I think that in any crisis, you have an opportunity to do better. And really, from my perspective, all I can focus on is where we are now and where we're going.
Yeah.
And I suppose the big challenge off the back of the articles is to ensure that all of those athletes that had different experiences are all heard, that we're all respectful of each other's experience, and that we all work together going forward to create the culture that they all deserve, but also that allows us to be successful in the future, but not at the cost of any individual's well-being.
Okay. And when you say you have to learn from them, is that a conversation that is ongoing, or that's going to happen with, say, the cohort of rowers who were very unhappy with how Antonio treated them, and with Gary O'Donovan, for example? Is that going to be a dynamic that you're going to engage in?
Well, my focus is on the athletes that are in the programme. I can't speak to a plan about the athletes who've left the programme, but I would be open to having a conversation with any athlete to learn. I think it's important that we leave the door open, because we can't improve things if we aren't willing to listen. And it's always been my way, and it certainly was my way in boxing, where you might have individuals who would have been recognised as being loud and noisemakers, but actually you often find, if you sit down and listen to the noisemakers, that there's always some kernel of knowledge or wisdom in the middle of it all that's useful. So I think you need to listen. My view right now is I've had conversations with all of the athletes. I've had conversations individually and in groups. We're doing some work with them independently, where we're bringing them all together, and we're kind of just allowing them all to have their say and try to kind of bring it to a healthy conclusion, where everybody is comfortable that they've been heard and that we're in a good place going forward. And then hopefully, I said this in the office the other day, and some people thought I was a little bit nuts saying it, but I kind of feel like I'd like to think that kind of when we get to LA and beyond, and when we're planning for Brisbane, that we will look back in this article as being, this is a good thing, because it's a line in the sand where we never have to go deal with those things again, that we have our processes, our systems, everything's right, so that we don't allow any kind of grey area. And obviously, I think it's fair to say that Rowing Ireland probably hired me because I have a very different approach to building structures and strategies and athlete well-being, partially because of my psychology background, maybe than my predecessor. But I think if you get past the noise, and as I mentioned earlier, I'm a big believer in working with athletes around distraction control. And to me, we have this massive distraction right now, and we just need to put that distraction to bed to allow us to go forward.
With the Oireachtas committee, when that comes up whenever it's going to be in the new year, I presume. First of all, I presume that you will engage fully with that. That's going to be probably the high point of this in terms of attention. What's your feeling like going into that room?
Well, I'm not aware that what the plan is around the Oireachtas committee just yet. But I mean, I would have no fear of it personally. I think from an organisation point of view, and from Michelle, the CEO's point of view, the changes the changes have happened over the last 12 months. The processes have changed. I was hired specifically around kind of doing things in a different way. So I think some of the criticism is a little bit harsh because people are doing the right things and have done the right things over the last 12 months. So I would be very comfortable. I mean, I kind of feel like if you build a strong, transparent system, then you have no fears of people coming in asking questions about it.
Yeah.
And like I had this same experience in boxing, that the Oireachtas have a job to do, and they are the people who provide the funding that allow us all to have this fantastic facility. So absolutely, I would be open to going and answering any questions they ask,
Yeah, because it's interesting, even when we were speaking to Fiona earlier, she's said that Antonio was a great coach, and you almost have to listen to that as much as you listen to the people who had a terrible experience under him. So if I were to ask you at this juncture, and I appreciate it's a fairly black and white question, but was the hiring of Antonio a mistake on behalf of Rowing Ireland? What way would you be leaning on that one?
I can't really answer that. I mean, obviously, Antonio was hired in 2017, and I mean, it was a different CEO who hired him. It's that long ago. I mean, it's very easy in hindsight to point fingers and to say, look, now we know this. And for me, I live a very simple philosophy in life, and I say this to all the athletes I work with, is that you can only make the best decisions you can make with the information you have available to you at the time. I don't know what information they had available at the time. But as you've just mentioned, there are athletes in the programme who have a very high regard for Antonio. So, there are many people who say that we have a heavyweight programme in rowing in Ireland now because they hired Antonio. So, I certainly am not going to start besmirching anybody's character or their reputation when all of this is stuff that went on before I was here. But I think the reality is that Rowing Ireland and Michelle and the board and the executive over the last 12 months obviously made a decision that there's a very different direction they wanted to go, and that's how I got hired. So hopefully we won't be having a conversation in 4 years' time where you say hiring me was a mistake.
Yeah, I'll be back in 4 years' time. There'll hopefully be just as many medals knocking about anyway. Listen, thanks a million for your time showing me around the place today. Appreciate you having the chat as well, and very best of luck with those awards in a few weeks. Hopefully you do the treble, I think it's 3 that you're involved in.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.